The diplomatic warning commander, Elena Vasquez, felt the familiar hum of the deep space monitoring station beneath her feet as she reviewed the morning reports. Horizon Watch had been humanity's eyes and ears in the outer rim for 3 years now, scanning for signs of intelligent life among the stars. Most days brought nothing but cosmic background radiation and the occasional meteor shower. Today would be different. "Commander, you need to see this," called out Lieutenant Sarah Park from her sensor station. Her voice carried an edge Elena had never heard before. The young officer's hands trembled slightly as she pointed to her display screen. Elena moved quickly to Sarah's station, her experienced eyes immediately recognizing the significance of what she was seeing. The sensor display showed a massive formation of ships approaching from the Kepler 442 system. Not just a few vessels, but hundreds of them moving in perfect military formation toward Earth's territorial space. How long until they reach the outer perimeter? Elena asked, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. At current speed, approximately 72 hours, ma'am. The formation is massive. I've never seen anything like it. Sarah's voice was barely above a whisper. Elena activated the emergency communications array. This was exactly the scenario Earth's leaders had prepared for, though many had hoped it would never come to pass. Priority Alpha transmission to Earth. Command. First contact situation confirmed. Unknown fleet approaching Earth space. Within minutes, the communication screen flickered to life, showing the face of General Patricia Stone, Earth's defense coordinator. The general's gray hair was perfectly styled, even at this early hour, and her sharp blue eyes immediately focused. "On Elena, Commander Vasquez report," General Stone said without preamble. "General, we've detected a large alien fleet approaching our outer territories. Based on their formation and approach vector, this appears to be a military force, not explorers or traders." General Stone nodded grimly. "Understood. Activate Protocol 7 immediately. We're going to diplomatic yellow alert. President Shun will want to address this personally." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Protocol 7 meant that Earth's hidden defense networks would begin their silent activation while maintaining the appearance of a peaceful, technologically limited world. It was a delicate balance that had taken decades to perfect. 3 hours later, President Sarah Chun stood in the Oval Office, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing a navy blue suit that conveyed both authority and approachability. The recording equipment was ready, and the diplomatic corps had crafted a message that would either prevent a war or serve as humanity's first and final warning to the stars. "My fellow beings," President Chun began, her voice calm and measured, "I am President Sarah Chun, speaking on behalf of the United Earth Government. We welcome you to our region of space and extend greetings from humanity." She paused, allowing the weight of her words to settle before continuing. "We have observed your fleet's approach and understand that you may be conducting expansion operations in this sector. We wish to establish peaceful relations and discuss the boundaries of our respective territories." The president's expression remained pleasant but firm. "Earth claims sovereign territory, extending 50 light years from our home system. We have established monitoring stations and defense installations throughout this region. We respectfully request that your forces coordinate with us before entering this space." President Chun stepped closer to the camera, her voice taking on a more serious tone. "We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend our territory and our people if necessary. We hope for peaceful coexistence and mutual respect between our civilizations. We await your response and look forward to diplomatic discussions." The message was broadcast on multiple frequencies toward the approaching fleet, accompanied by star charts showing Earth's claimed territory and suggested meeting coordinates at the edge of the solar system. Admiral Krex, Vorthik stood on the bridge of the NIGMA flagship Dominator, his scaled skin gleaming under the harsh bridge lighting. His forearms moved in agitation as he reviewed the human transmission for the third time. In his 50 years of conquest, he had never received such a message from what appeared to be a primitive species. "Admiral," Commander Zeth Corvain approached cautiously. "The analysis is complete. The planet shows no signs of advanced defensive capabilities. No orbital platforms, no energy shields, no visible fleet." Krex's mandibles clicked in amusement. "And yet they dare to claim 50 light-years of space. These creatures must be either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid." "Sir, their message mentioned monitoring stations and defense installations. Should we investigate further?" Krex waved a dismissive hand. "Primitives always claimed to have hidden defenses. It's psychological warfare, nothing more. We've conquered 200 worlds, Commander. I know how to recognize real threats." Meanwhile, in the depths of Earth's Pacific Ocean, Dr. Marcus Webb worked frantically in his underwater research facility. As head of xenobiology and alien technology analysis, he had spent years studying the few alien artifacts that had been recovered from crashed probes and abandoned ships found drifting in space. "The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases," he reported to General Stone via secure channel. "Their propulsion systems appear to be based on controlled gravity manipulation, and their hull composition suggests they're several centuries ahead of our publicly known technology." General Stone's image wavered slightly on the underwater communication screen. "Doctor, what are our chances in direct confrontation?" Dr. Webb hesitated. "General, if they're using conventional weapons and tactics, our hidden capabilities might surprise them, but we can't underestimate their experience. They've clearly conquered other worlds. What about their psychology? Any insights from their response to our diplomatic message?" "They haven't responded yet, but their fleet formation suggests extreme confidence. They're approaching as if they expect no resistance whatsoever. Either they're incredibly arrogant, or they have good reason to be confident." Back on Horizon Watch, Elena monitored the approaching fleet with growing concern. The aliens had maintained their course and speed without deviation, showing no signs of acknowledging Earth's diplomatic message or territorial claims. "Commander," Lieutenant Park called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet." Elena activated the main screen, and the bridge fell silent as an alien face appeared. Admiral Krex's reptilian features were imposing, his forearms moving expressively as he spoke. "Primitive species of the third planet," Krex began, his voice carrying the tone of someone addressing an inferior. "You will prepare for immediate integration into the NIGMA Empire. Resistance will result in the destruction of your cities and the enslavement of your population." The alien admiral's image leaned forward menacingly. "Your pathetic claims of territory are meaningless. The NIGMA Empire takes what it desires, when it desires it. You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Elena and her crew staring at a blank screen. The silence on the bridge was deafening. "Well," Elena said finally, "I guess diplomacy is officially off the table." She opened a channel to Earth Command. "General Stone, we just received their response. They're not interested in negotiations." "General." Stone's face appeared on screen, her expression grim but unsurprised. "Understood, Commander. Activate Protocol 9. All stations report to battle readiness. It's time to show these NIGMA exactly what they're dealing with." Across Earth's solar system, hidden installations began powering up. Asteroid mining stations revealed their true nature as heavily armed defense platforms. Seemingly empty regions of space suddenly bristled with cloaked ships and weapon systems. The moon's research facilities opened to reveal massive railguns that had been disguised as geological survey equipment. Ambassador David Kim, Earth's most experienced diplomat, worked feverishly to craft one final message. If there was any chance of avoiding the coming conflict, it lay in making the NIGMA understand exactly what they were choosing to fight. Admiral Krex, Ambassador Kim's message began. I am Ambassador David Kim, representing Earth's diplomatic corps. We have received your ultimatum and must respectfully decline your terms. Kim's voice remained calm and professional despite the gravity of the situation. We offered you peaceful coexistence and mutual respect. We provided clear boundaries and requested only that you acknowledge our sovereignty. You have chosen to respond with threats and demands for unconditional surrender. The ambassador paused, allowing the weight of his next words to be felt. Admiral, we gave you every opportunity to avoid this conflict. We warned you that we would defend our territory. You have chosen to ignore our warnings and proceed with hostile action. Kim's expression hardened slightly. We will not surrender. We will not submit to conquest. We will defend our world and our people with every resource at our disposal. This is your final warning, Admiral. Turn back now, or face the consequences of your choice. The message was transmitted directly to the NIGMA flagship, accompanied by detailed sensor readings of the approaching fleet. Earth wanted the NIGMA to know that humanity was fully aware of their capabilities and strength. Admiral Krex watched the human diplomat's message with growing irritation. The primitive's calm confidence was infuriating. How dare these creatures speak to him as if they were equals? Admiral, Commander Corvain reported, our intelligence division has completed their analysis of the system. They confirm minimal defensive capabilities. A few primitive satellites, some chemical rocket technology, but nothing that could threaten our fleet. Krex's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Then we proceed as planned. These humans will learn what happens when primitives challenge the NIGMA Empire. As the alien fleet continued its approach, both sides prepared for what would become one of the most significant conflicts in galactic history. The NIGMA Empire, confident in their technological superiority and military experience, saw only another easy conquest. Earth, having spent decades preparing for this moment, was ready to demonstrate that sometimes the greatest threats come from the most unexpected sources. The next 72 hours would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the balance of power in the galaxy itself. The NIGMA Empire was about to learn that Earth's warnings were not empty threats, and that underestimating humanity would cost them everything. Asterisk. The costly lesson the NIGMA fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system in a formation that had intimidated hundreds of worlds. Admiral Krex stood proudly on his bridge, watching the tactical display show his 300 warships arranged in perfect attack formation. The sight of such overwhelming force had caused countless species to surrender without firing a shot. Admiral, Commander Corvain reported, we're in position. The human world lies defenseless before us. Krex nodded with satisfaction. Open a channel to the planet. Let's give these primitives one last chance to surrender before we begin orbital bombardment. The communication screen activated, showing the interior of what appeared to be a human command center. A woman in military uniform stood calmly attentive. Attention, her expression neither fearful nor defiant, simply professional. I am General Patricia Stone of the United Earth Defense Forces, she said before Krex could speak. You are in violation of clearly established territorial boundaries. This is your final opportunity to withdraw peacefully. Krex's mandibles clicked in amusement. General Stone, you are looking at the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. 300 warships carrying enough firepower to crack a planet. Surrender now, and your people will be spared. General Stone's expression didn't change. Admiral, we warned you. We gave you every opportunity to avoid this conflict. You chose to ignore our warnings and proceed with hostile action. Your warnings? Krex laughed harshly. What could primitives like you possibly do to threaten the NIGMA Empire? I suppose you're about to find out, General Stone replied calmly. All Earth forces, execute Operation Lighthouse. The transmission ended, leaving Krex staring at a blank screen. Around him, his officers exchanged glances of confusion and amusement. The human general had spoken as if she actually had the power to threaten them. Sir, the sensor operator called out urgently. I'm detecting energy signatures throughout the system. Something's happening. Krex turned to the tactical display and felt his blood run cold. Across the solar system, objects that had appeared to be asteroids, space debris, and empty regions of space were suddenly blazing with energy signatures. Hidden installations were powering up, revealing themselves as massive weapons platforms. Impossible. Krex breathed. The scans showed no significant defenses. Admiral, Commander Corvain's voice was tight with concern. We're detecting over 500 defensive installations. They were completely hidden from our sensors. Captain James Rodriguez sat in the command chair of the Earth defense ship, defiant, watching his tactical display with grim satisfaction. For 15 years, he had helped plan and prepare for this moment. The ship around him was a masterpiece of human engineering, combining technologies reverse engineered from alien artifacts with innovations that were purely human in origin. Captain, his tactical officer reported, all hidden platforms are online. Earth fleet is moving to engagement positions. James nodded. Signal all ships. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for the principle that no species has the right to conquer another. Make every shot count. The human fleet that emerged from its hiding places was unlike anything the NIGMA had ever encountered. The ships were sleek and purposeful, their hulls gleaming with a distinctive blue-white energy signature of quantum disruption technology. Where the NIGMA fleet relied on brute force and overwhelming firepower, the human ships were built for precision, speed, and tactical flexibility. Admiral Krex watched in growing horror as the human fleet took formation around his forces. The primitive species he had expected to crush without effort had somehow managed to conceal a fleet that matched his own in numbers and appeared to exceed it in technological sophistication. All ships, Krex commanded, his voice betraying none of his inner turmoil. Open fire. Destroy the human vessels. The NIGMA fleet unleashed a devastating barrage of energy weapons and missiles. The space around Earth lit up with the fury of 300 warships firing simultaneously. It was a display of firepower that had leveled cities and shattered moons. But something impossible happened. The human ships didn't explode. Instead, they seemed to absorb the incoming fire, their hulls glowing with protective energy fields that deflected even the most powerful weapons. The quantum disruption technology that Earth had spent decades perfecting was proving its worth against real alien weapons. Status report. Krex shouted over the chaos on his bridge. Minimal damage. To human vessels, sir. Their defensive systems are beyond our current understanding. They're using some form of quantum field manipulation to neutralize our weapons. Captain Rodriguez smiled grimly as he watched the NIGMA barrage fail to penetrate his fleet's defenses. Tactical. Target their command ship. Let's show them what human ingenuity can accomplish. The Defiant's main weapon system charged with a distinctive whine that sent vibrations through the hull. The quantum disruption cannon was humanity's secret weapon, capable of destabilizing the molecular bonds that held enemy ships together. It was a weapon that struck not just at hull armor, but at the fundamental forces that kept matter stable. Firing, the tactical officer announced. A beam of coherent energy lanced out from the Defiant, striking the NIGMA flagship directly. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Dominator's hull began to buckle and distort as quantum fields destabilized its molecular structure. Systems failed across the ship as the very atoms that composed critical components began to lose cohesion. "Admiral!" Commander Corvain shouted over the alarms and sparking control panels. "We're losing hull integrity across all decks. The humans are using some form of molecular disruption technology." Krex stared at the tactical display in disbelief. His flagship, the pride of the NIGMA fleet, was being systematically dismantled by a single human weapon. Around him, other NIGMA ships were suffering similar fates as the human fleet demonstrated the devastating effectiveness of their quantum weapons. "Sir," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." General Stone's image appeared on the screen, her expression serious but not triumphant. "Admiral Krex, your fleet is defeated. Your ships are disabled, but your crews are alive. We're offering you safe passage out of our territory." Krex's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Safe passage? You're not going to destroy us?" "Admiral, we warned you about the consequences of ignoring our territorial boundaries. You've experienced those consequences. But we're not conquerors. We don't destroy defeated enemies who no longer pose a threat." The human general's words struck Krex like a physical blow. In all his years of conquest, he had never shown mercy to defeated enemies. The concept of sparing those who had threatened you was alien to NIGMA thinking. "Your ship's weapons and propulsion systems have been disabled," General Stone continued. "We're transmitting repair protocols that will allow you to restore minimal systems for the journey home. In return, you will leave our territory immediately and never return." Commander Corvain looked at his admiral with amazement. "Sir, they're actually letting us go. They could destroy us completely, but they're offering mercy." Krex felt something he had never experienced before. Shame. These humans had every right to annihilate his fleet, yet they were choosing compassion over vengeance. It was a lesson that would haunt him for the rest of his life. "General Stone," Krex said slowly, "why are you sparing us?" "Because, Admiral, we believe that every species has the right to exist and grow. We don't want to rule over others or force our will upon them. We simply want to be left alone to develop in peace." The human general's image flickered slightly as she continued. "Your empire has conquered 200 worlds. How many species have you driven to extinction? How many civilizations have you destroyed? We could add the NIGMA to that list, but we choose not to." Dr. Marcus Webb monitored the battle's aftermath from his underwater laboratory, analyzing the quantum disruption technology's performance against real alien targets. The results exceeded even his most optimistic projections. Not only had the human fleet neutralized a vastly superior force, but they had done so with him.